Much. Okay, so we're moving on another topic. Immediately after that, we'll break out for lunch. So we're discussing a very important topic. Everybody wants to get rich. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to enjoy life. These things come with price. So we'll be talking about the wealthy aspect of a successful life. When you make money, how do you live this life? Because if you make money and you don't know how to live that life, and you don't know how to manage this life or wealth you've made, you might just find yourself back to where you were before. So I'm going to bring our next speaker in. He's the CEO of Whyte Technology Limited. He is an ingenious, quick-witted, and multifaceted individual with proven success in the highly competitive and transaction-oriented environment globally. He had his BA in public administration from the University of Maiduguri. He started off his career in business as the CEO of his then business, Office Care, which was into the sales of office equipment. He went on to become the chairman of Limaros Energy, an energy and gas company. He moved on to the Lagos State Internal Revenue, where he consulted for 10 years and then consulted for the Lagos State government on tax for another 5 years. He's presently the chairman and CEO of Whyte Technology. He is the CEO of Liquid Associates, a tax consulting firm, the chairman of Brick Conceptual Integrated Limited, an advertising firm. He's also the chairman of Tonguesbridge Flex Limited and Brick Height Project Limited, a construction company. He also sits as a director in the Nigerian Farmer Association. Please let's make welcome the one and only Mr. Uwem Whyte. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please, I want that Mr. Chris to come back because he was talking about my life just now. Please, where did he go to? Everything Mr. Chris spoke about reflected me at the beginning of my life. When I mean my life, my adult life. Luckily, I have my elder brother here, my younger sister here. He spoke about so many things. He spoke about investing in people. I learned that the easy way. He also spoke about investing in shares. Now, that's, it depends on who is talking about shares and your exposure. It was easy for him to talk about going to Rwanda and all that because of his exposure. You see, most of us that are not exposed like that, we are grounded here in Nigeria. And most of the business that we have now is, come, let me dupe you. So he spoke from a different spectrum. I don't think he was speaking to most of us here because this man wants to own an Uber. I'm very sure he has no plans. He doesn't even know where Rwanda is. So you see, he was speaking to specific kind of people. And so let all of us not take that to heart and think it's the only way out. Yes, there are some investments you can still do in Nigeria, but the best investment you can do is what you do for yourself, the business you do for yourself. Because any economy that has come to the economy of Nigeria right now, we are looking for who to dupe. Somebody comes to you and tells you, bring 100 naira, you will make 1,000. You thief. You think it's that easy. And that is the trend, actually. In any economy that is struggling, that's what you see. Even in Europe, in America, 40, 50 years ago, they used to dupe themselves. You hear somebody carries investment and runs away. In Canada, yeah, You people used to run away with people's money. So it's not new. so that we must tailor some things to meet us as we are and what we are. Because at times we lose track listening to somebody and thinking that is how we are going to be, or that's the only easy way out. It's not. We must learn to know where we live, how to tailor things out. So I was lucky enough to have met older people as I started in my road of life to money making. And the first thing they taught me is investing in people. Investing in people. Yeah, it's good to invest with family, yes. You must invest in your children, that's for sure. But in people, you must invest. You can invest in 10 people. 7 would come back. You have tried. All of them would not come back. I'll tell you guys a story of how God saw the future for me in one instance. So I followed my older friend. He's a pastor. We went for some church in Munshin. And after the church service, this called out some children and said, if anybody could help them, 20,000 naira a month would help them, school fees, everything. So I chose 2 people, 2 ladies. Apparently they were siblings. I did not know that at that time. And I started paying 20,000 a month for them. Like a year or 2 years later, one of them sends me, okay, I didn't drop a phone number, I dropped an email address. So she sends me a mail and says, Daddy, good afternoon, I have finished, I'm about to do my school set. She needed money for school set, I sent it through the church. And the next thing she said, she has done well, she wants to do JAM. And she did very well in JAM and passed. And was admitted to Unilag. And she finished school. Just before she finished school, she started selling clothes. She would go to her friends who travel, she would take clothes. Then they used to go to Dubai, I think. So she would take clothes from them, add her own profits, and sell. And one day she comes to me and says, look, I can do this. Daddy, can you borrow me 500,000, I think, or 300, I can't remember. So I gave her. 1 month later, she said she has turned the money around. Do I want it now? I said, no, use it to do your business. In her final year, she bought a car. It was an i10, one tiny car like that. I think it was other Kia also, one tiny i10, black. So she lied to me that I should come and look at the car. Apparently, she has not finished paying. So I got there, they said she was still owing 100,000 naira. So I paid and she took the car. And she used to sell from the boot of that car. Then she started going to Dubai herself. Then she started going to the UK. Then she graduated, went to do her master's in New Jersey. The next year, my wife wanted to go and give birth. So I have a place in New Jersey. Okay, you do not come. And I hold that against you. And I arrived in New Jersey with my wife and the maid. Remember, I had to come back home because I work. But she was there. She moved into the house. She was one carrying my wife for antenatal. But so I would come back the next month. So I was coming every month till she gave birth. But she was in the house. You know, when you live abroad, the things we take for granted here, your sister will come, help your wife, cook, go back home. There's nanny, there's maid. Bro, you know how it works, right? There's nothing like that. So when I see women that give birth, especially Nigerian women, and come back, I praise them. It's not a joke. So she was there, and she was very helpful to me and my wife. For 1 year, she had a car. She would go buy the groceries, everything that I was cracking my brain, how I'm going to get a driver for. She did it. God helped me there. Then she came back, got a job in FRS. She's married now. She has 2 children now. And that was how God used that girl to bless me later in life because of 20,000, 40,000 I was paying for school fees. So it's always good to invest in people. And I also learned another thing again as I moved on. Every chance you have to sit on the board of a company, please do. Because those in the Western world, what I mean Western world, Western Nigeria, those older men, they had the vision that those of us from the Southeast, South, North did not have. You would wonder in the 50s, 60s, 70s, you will see a Yoruba man is chairman of this, chairman of that. That's how they started. And guess what? Those companies started doing well. And most of them didn't have to work again. Their children didn't have to work because they had monies coming from different streams of income where the man was just a director, the chairman. And as the company grew, they had money for the family. Some of them outgrew demand, the children took over. So at times, when you have a chance, like you could, my best advice to people is, if you can do business, do it. You see, we're lucky enough in this part of the world, we have the economy to take anything. We are over 200 million. We need things from food, clothes, water, anything. Like he works in a water place, they are going to make money because there are things we need every day. We are over 200 million. We are not like Togo. No, it's the truth. We are a lot. So anything you do, you would succeed moderately. Anything you do in Nigeria, I'm not even joking. Anything you want to, if you want to do buying and selling, you will succeed. Anything you do, we have the economy to take it. It's just unfortunate we don't have the people to manage it. So I always encourage people, 2 or 3 people, you can sit down, form what you guys want to do, and run with it. You'll be shocked at how it would grow. Look at our boys got into IT. We're doing so well. Individually, there's no help from any government, and that's the truth. In the IT world of Nigeria, there is no help. In fact, the government tries to stifle you. But those boys are doing so well everywhere in the world. People come from the Western world to buy them out. 25 million, 200 million US dollars. It's what they created. Because we have the market for most of the things that we will need. We actually do have the market. So I advise people, 9 to 5 is not for everybody. Let's not even fool ourselves. 9 to 5 is not for everybody. And I can dare say again, normal school is not for everybody. So our parents pushed into us that we should all go to school, study, be a doctor, engineer, accountant, lawyer, and I wonder how much doctors earn now. But the truth is that everything is not for everybody. So as we grow old, let us encourage our children differently. Now, if you have a child that's very good in artwork, please allow him or her. Encourage them. It's not everybody that must have a degree from school, like proper school. It's not everybody. And the Western world has showed us that it's not everybody that should have a degree. But back in the day, your parents would make sure, because being a doctor is pride, so they force you to be a lawyer. And a doctor, that's what they did to me, my brother, my sister here back in the day. So it's not everybody that should go to proper schooling. Then I learned a lot from Mr. Chris. I wish he was here. he spoke so many things that if I'd known before now, if I'd known before as I am now, I would have been wiser. But I learned my own on the way. He talked about investing. Very, very important. Investing in your children, in your spouse, and in people around you. Because if you don't, you will pay the price of your people around you not being educated in any form. And putting money aside for tomorrow. You know, it's easy to say that here, but in the economy of Nigeria, it's not easy at all. And we also live in a society where you are your brother's keeper. So it's not easy. We growing up, seeing our parents pay school fees for cousins, distant people. So that's what we are used to. So it's where Coach Aneka comes from, that they talk about putting money aside. Because here you put money aside, one auntie has just died, you have to bring money. Put money aside, your grandfather, they have to turn the grave, and you cannot disgrace your father, you must bring money. So you see, the money you invested for something else has to go to something else. So yes, you can be disciplined enough, but there are some things you can't dodge from. There are some responsibilities in this part of the world that is constant. It's like Northern Star. It is constant. You know, when you live abroad, you can decide, this me, my wife, my dog, and my cat. No other human being. But in this part of the world, 5 o'clock, they've knocked on your door. Your relative have come from the village. Your grand uncle that you never met has just died. But it's always good to put money aside for tomorrow. I learned that in my old age. I learned how to say no in my old age. Luckily, I met some few people in my old age that have taught me some different things. Like Onyenye has taught me how to be prudent. I told you about her, right? She's Igbo, very prudent child. You ask, so we work, she's my colleague at work. She will ask me why we are giving them so much. Why are we giving them so much? What did they do? And that's basically how my life started. I was blessed. God actually ordained my step at a particular time. I met some people and they carried me all the way. That was where I learned that when your time comes, nothing stops it. Not even you can stop it. And people will always try to bring it down, but when your time comes. Let me give you guys a small story before I leave. So I was contracted to consult for Lagos State on tax. We started this in 2004. We started the Lagos State Board of Internal Revenue then. And originally I come from Akwa Ibom State. So 2 years in, we had a seminar in Akwa Ibom. And I gave a presentation. So my name showed on the screen. And the governor was like, that guy Uwem is from our place. They say, yes, bring him. So they brought me to him. Me and my chairman then, the commissioner for finance, carried me to him. And we had dinner in his house. And we agreed to do the same system we did for Lagos State, for Akwa Ibom State. We had brought out the numbers, everything. That night, they sent for me again. And guess what they told me? I needed to swear loyalty to the governor. I don't know if you guys understood me. The person that gave me the job in Lagos does not know my village, does not know my father. The one that knows me well said they should bring goods for me to swear loyalty. So you see, I was stuck with two options: make a lot of money and don't know the repercussion as it goes, or stand up and walk away. So my chairman tapped me on the leg, and we stood up and we left. Till today, the IGR of that state is stuck at 2.1 billion a month. It could have been 15, it could have been 20. It could have been 20, and the state will have more money. But because I did not swear loyalty with a goat for a man, he has left now, he's no more the governor. I would have gone to bring goat now. You people were looking for a cure for me up and down now. So that's the bottom line. The bottom line is we must learn to invest in people, especially people around us. We must invest in people because they come back to eat things for us, knowingly or unknowingly. Mr. Chris did not tell us how that boy that went to America, he didn't tell us how, but I tell you, the guy is good to him today. He can call the boy up, look, I need you to give somebody $500. The guy will say, yes, sir. He will do it. And helping him didn't cost him anything. The house was there, it was his house. The food was always there. So at times, it doesn't really cost you anything to invest in people. So the first thing I advise people to do, invest in people and make sure they know the purpose. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Please, another round of applause for him. My first encounter with Mr. Uwem was just last week. And it wasn't physical, it was over. Yes, and when it was just one statement he made, I said, this one is fire. So I said, I'm looking forward to, meeting this man. And I must tell you that really I enjoyed listening to him. It was very practical, very real. And that's what life should be all about. Most times we're uptight. We're not being real. We've got to be real. And if you are real, people would actually, identify with you and flow well. A story was told of a woman who